Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Mary. And we do stuff. Today. Back in 2005, when we took our Route 66 road trip, I live-blogged it. The technology of the time meant I updated my LiveJournal whenever I can get an internet connection. Road trip, day 1. We're in St. Louis after a day of strangeness and near fiascos. This morning, we showed up at the rental counter to pick up the car. I spent more hours than I want to think about finding a killer deal online, but when I got to the counter, the unpleasant woman told me, "We don't accept your debit card." It turns out that they accept some debit cards, but not all. And when I asked to speak to a manager, the manager was even meaner and nastier than the counter witch, offering no explanation and just saying, "No." After a lengthy conversation and much hold time with AAA, they secured us another car with Thrifty, with just a few dollars more. When we went back to the rental place, the incredibly friendly counter woman offered us a Durango. Since gas mileage was an issue, we got a Chrysler 300 touring model, less than 3,000 miles, and luxury out the butt. It smells like new car and leather and is incredibly comfortable. I've been looking up how to work the Power Everything accessories in the never-before-touched owner's manual. So we drove over 550 miles today and saw lots of fields. Okay, John drove and I navigated, but the fields were still pretty boring. Tomorrow is Missouri's Route 66 after playing tourist at the Gateway Arch. Pics will be forthcoming. I'm tired, and after drinking the complimentary beer, thanks Wyndham by request, I'm going to collapse. Road trip, day 2. So we left the hotel in St. Louis around noon and saw the Gateway Arch. Then we went on to the Chain of Rocks Bridge, the original Route 66 way of crossing the Mississippi. And it was the bridge Snake Plissken crossed in Escape from New York. While we were on the bridge, which is open to foot and bicycle traffic only, our car was broken into. Luckily, only John's cell phone was taken. Since it's a North Coast PCS phone, it'll only work in Cleveland, so there's undoubtedly some disappointed thieves in St. Louis. We drove on through Missouri, stopping at the Merrimack Caverns for a cave tour and lunch. I-44 in Missouri is hilly, almost mountainous, but seemed to be mostly uphill. Next, Oklahoma, which has signs that say, "Do not drive into smoke," every few miles. We saw no smoke to avoid. So now we're in Tulsa, and I have Eric Clapton in my head singing "Livin' on Tulsa Time," which is marginally better than John's spirited version of Oklahoma. For the second night in a row, we've gotten a suite for the price of a single room, and we've settled into the room watching TLC's Tuesday Night Hot Rod lineup and drinking beer. Tomorrow, we're taking Route 66 across Oklahoma and into Texas. Road trip, day 3. So here we are in Roswell, New Mexico, home of the 1947 alien spacecraft crash. We haven't seen any aliens yet, but we just got here. We left Tulsa around noon and took Route 66 through Oklahoma, passing lots of old buildings and half-dead towns. We also saw lots of cattle, some apparently on a lunch break lying down under the trees. We saw a boat farm, a trailer farm, and the famous round barn. Once we crossed into Texas, I found out that it really is big and surprisingly green. The views go on for miles and miles. We stopped at the Devil's Rope Museum, barbed wire to you Easterners, and then to my personal favorite so far, the Cadillac Ranch. This is the famous ranch where the 50s and 60s Cadillacs are buried nose down and fins up in the pasture of Stanley Marsh. Over the years, visitors have left their mark on the cars, as did we. A piece of weirdness. After we left the pasture, the cows all decided to move from the back and front corners of the pasture towards the cars, potentially blocking the other tourists from leaving. We left, not wanting to watch a potential cattle versus tourist war. After the Cadillac Ranch, we left Route 66 and drove on through Texas to New Mexico. The view was mostly pasture, huge grain tower clusters, and cattle. Lots of cattle. We even drove through a town called Bovina. Tomorrow, we will investigate the Alien Museum. Updates, and pictures perhaps, if I get around to resizing and uploading, will follow, of course. Postscript to day 3. I forgot to mention how much fun I'm having. I have an absolutely wonderful boyfriend. Day 4, morning. We missed the free breakfast at the hotel, so we stopped at the Out of This World Cafe for coffee and the best carrot raisin muffin I've ever had. Gotta love a place that does mocha, bakery, and has free internet access. We're sitting at a table across from the UFO Research Center, checking email. Yes, this is a weird vacation, but what other kind would John and I take? And an update. I got the name of the coffee shop wrong. It's the Not of This World Cafe. Road trip, day 4 and 5. In Flagstaff, connecting wirelessly in a bar called Alvin's Mason Jar. We stayed in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico last night after dinner with John's mom in Las Cruces and spending a lot of time 750 feet underground in Carlsbad Caverns. Today we passed through Winslow, Arizona, where there's a trompe l'oeil painting of a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford. I wanted to stand on the corner and get my picture taken, but it was chain link fenced off. It turned out that the building was torn down and all that remains is the wall with the painting. We also went to the Petrified Forest National Park, where I got sunburnt. It's 100 degrees. And I took a lot of pics and video. I've still been too busy to do anything with the pictures. Eventually I'll post some. Really. I'm logging off now so John can try to connect. There's a limited number of people who can connect at one time, and I was quicker. More when we get access again. Road trip, day 6. We have reached California, and I, as the navigator, have learned an important lesson. Don't believe the guidebooks, especially when they say, pleasant scenic drive through a mountain pass. What they mean is treacherous roads with no guardrails and hairpin turns. Driving Route 66 through the Sightgreaves Pass and Oatman almost killed us. Thank all the gods that John is an excellent driver, even with sun in his eyes and no shoulder, just sheer drops. We got used to the sheer drops earlier, sort of, by visiting the Grand Canyon and walking part of the trail around the rim. It is magnificent and big. No, make that huge. Awe-inspiring, even. Also, if you're ever in Seligman, Arizona, eat at the Roadkill Cafe. It has great food despite the name. Tomorrow, the Pacific Ocean. Road trip, day whatever. I have lost track of time. I was incredibly ill all day yesterday and part of today, but John dragged me out today to go to the ocean, and I'm better now. I could live in this part of California. It's beautiful. We're halfway between LA and San Francisco, and we have to turn around and go home tomorrow. We're taking a different route home, but we haven't decided which one yet. We'll figure it out eventually. We have maps, guidebooks, and the Eccentric's Guide to America, so we can't go wrong. Road trip, day 11. Vegas! We're in Las Vegas, home of neon and Elvis impersonators. I have found myself strangely attracted to spinny blinky things, otherwise known as slot machines. I had always thought of them as mechanical one-armed bandit type things. They are not. They are hypnotic and electronic and nearly irresistible, and they have names like Rich Girl and Kaboom and even Alien, the movie. Between them and Keno, we have basically broke even. Oh, and only paid for one meal in the 2 days we've been here. Yay, comps! I made John go with me on the monorail to the Star Trek casino at the Hilton. While there, we saw $1 million in a display box. We didn't win it, but we did get a picture of it. Speaking of pics, I finally managed to get a few together. See them here. Excuse the canned format, more and better stuff awaits when I get home, as does approximately 60 gigs of unedited video. Sigh. Well, I guess in a month or so I can bore everyone with our vacation video. Time to sleep, then pack and go again. Home again. Yes, we're home a day early thanks to John's insane driving schedule of the past 2 days. According to the car, which kept track for us, we put in 5,783 miles and 99.5 hours of driving time. Speaking of the car, if anyone is in the market for a luxury car, I can highly recommend the Chrysler 300. John finally let me drive it today. It's a pleasure to drive. Comfy seats, exceptional pickup, and lots of buttons and dials and automatic stuff, and a great sound system. Standard. I'm now mad that I couldn't drive it more. A few highlights I may have not mentioned. Every state has the animals on break phenomenon. There are the few cows, or sheep, or goats, or llamas, or buffaloes that refuse to munch grass or hay or stand around with the others, but instead choose to lie in the shade with a few friends. I suspect they're making fun of the other animals who are in the sun working hard at being picturesque. Another common denominator in every state is the left lane dawdler. This is the idiot who insists on driving in the fast lane, but is only traveling as fast as the slow traffic. Flashing your lights at them, or in very impatient modes, honking horns, does not affect them. These people need to be eliminated or at least penalized in some way. Iowa closes at 9 on Saturday nights. I have learned some things about myself on this trip. I hate cheap hotels and their thin, threadbare towels. I turn into a tourist whenever I see spectacular scenery or silly road signs. I get really grouchy if I don't get coffee in the morning. I really appreciate having a boyfriend that indulges me when I turn into a tourist or a grouch. Tomorrow is sleeping in and doing nothing day. We may try to catch up with daughters and other family, but that'll be later. Sleeping in our own bed will be a novelty. Like
and subscribe for more weirdness.